Hello people, welcome to our channel. With his Masters in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Delhi, an executive engineer from L&T, to being the senior engineer at LMS Siemens, an entrepreneur by vision, a leader by nature, founder and chairman of the leading engineering firm Imaje, an engineering-oriented service company specializing in two streams, education and mechanical product designing. With a whopping 2 million subscribers and continuously growing on YouTube, our chief speaker today is Sabin Matthew. Hello sir, welcome to our channel.
So thank you Ruchi for the wonderful introduction, and also thank you for having me here.
Absolutely sir, it's more than a delight for us to have you over here. So we've got few questions for you, Sabin.
Sure, please go ahead.
So what made you start your channel, when did you start it, and what made you strive to go ahead?
Yeah, the story of this channel, Learn Engineering, is a 6-year-old story. So 6 years back, exactly on December, I was jobless. I had lost my job and I desperately wanted some revenue source to sustain myself. Even during those periods, I had a small freelancing service on engineering projects. So obviously my initial goal was to start an engineering service business. I wanted to convert my freelancing service into a business. But I realized that only with freelancing projects, sometimes I may be in trouble. Money may come, may not come, because it's all up to how many projects you are getting. Also the size of your client. So this YouTube channel came as a remedy for that. A revenue remedy. Even if I don't get any project from freelancing service or engineering service, this may bring some money. Moreover, I was quite passionate about engineering field. I have a very good background on physics, mathematics, and using this I was able to explain engineering concepts really well. So I thought, why don't I explain this concept to people all across the globe using simple language, in a logical language, in a better way. That's how this channel was started, exactly 6 years back.
So Sabin, what was your initial idea when you started the channel? How did you want it to be like?
Yeah, the initial idea was very simple. I wanted to cover all the mechanical engineering topics in a very simple way because I am also a mechanical engineer, and animation was never in my mind. I just want to present everything using maybe PowerPoint, simple language. That was the initial plan.
Absolutely. So our next question for you is, what were the various obstacles that you faced as you began moving towards your career?
Yeah, regarding the obstacle, as I mentioned earlier in the second question, the 3D animation was never in my mind. So initial plan was to make just PowerPoint oriented presentation and voice over to that and make some lectures. But soon I realized that with animation, the quality of video improves. People understand things very clearly. We can also visualize things more easy way. And moreover, due to this fact, the views increase drastically. So animation was a real obstacle. I had to learn some software myself. And even though I'm not an animator, I've learned very fundamental of that. And I was able to cooperate some animation myself in initial videos. That was a real obstacle, real struggle.
Absolutely. So something that you said, you started it as a source of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So for a YouTube channel to get into that level where it pays you back, it needs some kind of crazy faith in your dream.
Right.
So what was your vision? Because monetizing your channel does take a lot of time. So how did all of that pan out?
Yeah, to make the YouTube sustainable, it took almost 2 years. So my initial target was to make the YouTube sustainable in 3 or 4 months, but that didn't happen. So the initial 2 years was a real struggle. I had to do a lot of engineering projects to give enough money for sustainability. In the meantime, I spent a lot of time on YouTube, thinking that one day it will become sustainable. But after 1 year and almost 2 years, it was really sustainable. The YouTube became self-sustainable and money stream was good, and things started moving well after that.
So like you said, when you were starting this channel back in December 6 years ago, you said it was a very difficult time for you. And your plan was to do it in 3 and 4 months. So
Right.
was that period depressing after 3 or 4 months where you realized, okay, this will take more time and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't have any kind of money?
It was depressing because my target was 3 or 4 months, but that didn't happen. But the channel had started picking up. I was learning new things. So after 3 or 4 months, even though I couldn't achieve my goal, I learned new things. Like if I create videos this way, it will be a huge hit. It will reach millions of people. So with that learning, I had some trust in myself. But to learn those skills, I need more time to implement those things. So I had to push my dreams for one year more. In the meantime, to sustain myself, I had to do some more engineering projects. But I didn't quit on YouTube. I was just partly working on that till it reaches a sustainable level.
So one thing that really comes into anybody's mind was, like you said, you were parallelly doing engineering projects. So
Mhm.
what exactly were the engineering projects that you were working towards?
Yeah, during this 1.5 years, I remember I developed a hydraulic turbine. It was a Francis turbine. It was a big project for a Norway company, and many other small projects. Some design improvement on existing products. Like in this 1.5 years, I can say maybe I did some 5 or 6 projects. A common project, like the client will give you money, you give the work to him. Engineering, computer oriented work, but in mechanical engineering field.
So did that come in between your time schedule of making YouTube videos?
Yeah, I had to do proper time management. Some projects were too hectic, so those days I was not able to concentrate on YouTube video production. I have to push the video service because client project always have deadline. But YouTube videos is your own project, so you can even if it is delayed, there is no issue. But I was very sure that YouTube videos are the only one who can give a sustainable revenue. So that's why I had to find a happy medium in between.
Absolutely. So how did you juggle in between these two conflicting things, considering you had a family and you had to take care of yourself as well?
Yeah, my family was supportive in one extent, but they are quite suspicious about this new business model because these things are completely out of mind. These are not traditional business. Yeah, YouTube revenue source or engineering service. So for them, it was slightly difficult to digest. But after 2 years or 3 years, when they see that it's a sustainable revenue model, they are quite supportive.
Definitely. So a question that really pops in is, not everybody is going to do a YouTube channel, start with a vision, okay, I want to monetize this.
Mhm.
So you were extremely different from everybody's vision. So did people ever say, okay, yaar, ye banda kuch alag hi kar raha hai? Did you ever feel that kind of notion? And if it was there, how did you react to it and how did you use it to grow more?
Yeah, one good thing about YouTube is that they give detailed statistics. Very easy to understand detailed statistics. So if somebody doubts me, even my family members and all, I can show them the statistics. This is the way the channel grows. In 1 year we had this much growth. So maybe in 2 years we can double the view counts or double the revenue, and then the revenue will be somewhat decent amount. So using the statistics, nothing comes above the numbers. So you can definitely counter those people.
Absolutely. So every journey has a turbulence or some bad periods. And like now, like you said rightly, it's been 6 years into this beautiful journey. What were some troubles that you felt, okay, I had this trouble, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, there were quite good number of troubles. One major issue we faced was, so the channel was sustainable after 2 years. It was doing well, it was growing well, even view counts were growing. But one sudden morning, the AdSense revenue started dropping, the Google AdSense revenue. So that's the bloodline of the YouTube business. The reason still I don't know. So that is quite a difficult time. So if your revenue is dropping, then you're out of the business. You won't be able to run a sustainable business from that revenue model. So that was a huge trouble. And what I did was, my subscribers were quite supportive. They spread all across the globe. It's not only from the India. And I requested them through a video. So we are in a financial trouble, and why don't you support us? So there's a page called Patreon. We opened a Patreon page, and in 1 week of time, I think almost more than 100 people joined to support us as small donations. So that is a good boost. So we are out of the financial trouble. And after that period, even YouTube revenue also started picking up. So as a matter of fact, YouTube is not a sustainable source of revenue. You cannot 100% trust on that. You have to make sure that you have to have a parallel revenue source. And after this experience, I learned one more thing. Relying completely on one channel is slightly risky. So we already had a good content in English, and I realized that most of the globe doesn't speak English, maybe German, Japan, or Indonesia. That's why it is an easy business model to dub our videos to different languages. A small effort and a good revenue source. That way we created 6 or 7 channels more, and when I add all these channels revenue together, the revenue stream is not fluctuating, it's somewhat steady.
So, sir, you being on such a international level, something that I know personally and I've seen is that indifferent from other people's video, your video has a very different pattern of growth. The growth pattern is it doesn't go as a viral hit when it is uploaded, but slowly over a period of time it gains more traction than possibly a lot of other people's videos. So what is the reason and how does this happen in a very different way?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Ruchi, and it will take some time to explain it. So the reason is that the topic selection, the video topic I select is always evergreen topics. For example, how does an induction motor work, or how does a mobile phone work, how does the internet work. These are topics people are always interested in. These are very, very curious topics people are always interested in. Maybe even after 20 or 30 years, people will search for these topics. So I always select topics, those are evergreen in nature. After 5 or 3 years, the interest should not die out. So, and we put all effort to make the topic very interesting, the answer of that question very interesting. And we make sure that the answer is quite different from the textbook kind of explanation. In the meantime, it should be right, is logical. So in viral video, you can see that they take a viral topic. For example, Chandrayaan 2 launch is going to happen, or NASA's launch. So they just explain this recent trending topics really went through the video. So after the launch is over, maybe after 2-3 weeks, the interest die out. So after that event, after that period, there won't be much view attraction to those kind of videos. So I make sure that our videos are not that kind. Most of our videos, they're evergreen videos. That's why you can see during the initial phase there won't be much growth generation, but due to the sustainable interest, it will generate huge amount of views, maybe 2-3 years.
Absolutely. So having a long-term vision over a short-term vision, how important is that for Learn Engineering apart from all the different channels?
That's my style from the initial period onwards. So I didn't want the videos to become a 1-week phenomenon or 2-week phenomenon. I want to become a long-term phenomenon. So maybe after 20 years, I want to see these videos as a classic examples of best explanation of any topic. So that's why the whole channel is long-term oriented. And about many of the engineering channels or education channels, I can see that some topics are time oriented. Maybe they will last for 1 or 2 months, maximum 1 year. But our approach is totally different. So it's a purely long-term vision.
Absolutely. So a question that a lot of people who will be listening this podcast, and it goes to a lot of people, not everyone must be aware of how YouTube works. So could you give us a brief on how Google Ad works, how Google AdSense work, and what is a Patreon account?
Google AdSense is a very popular business model. Like, it is not only for the YouTube. You can apply even it on if you have a website. Like, after building a platform either on a website or on a YouTube, I think Google will approach you. I don't know what's the style now. Earlier I was approaching Google. You have to send a request to Google and they will check your content, whether it's original, are you copying from somewhere else, or is your website having good quality, is your content having good quality, or their policies. If you are crossing all this limit, they will approve you. After the approval, advertising will start coming on your platform, either website or on YouTube. And one share of this advertisement will reach your account after 1 month. So it's a very simple business model for you. You don't have to worry about what are those advertisements which are coming on your videos or on your website. Google will decide that. That's their responsibility for the maximum revenue. And Patreon is a totally different model. So as I mentioned, Google AdSense is just an advertising business model. Google take money from advertisers and one share of that they transfer to you. But Patreon is different in such a way that the people are directly supporting you. There is no advertisement involved. Some people are convinced or impressed with your work and they just want to donate some money to your account every month. Maybe $1 every month, maybe $10 every month, depending upon their capability. And when you add all this small amount together, you get some decent amount of money. And a short percentage of this money will go to the Patreon company, the company which hosts all these matters. So basically, you receive almost 95% of the Patreon money to your account. Patreon is, in short, is a crowdfunding source. It's not exactly crowdfunding. It's a long-term crowdfunding, you can say, monthly-based crowdfunding.
Absolutely. So like now that you've grown so much and you're planning to grow ahead, one question that comes to a lot of people is, like you said, you're an international level. Right now the whole Learn Engineering is on an international level as compared to all the other channels across. So how does viewer support come in? Like how do you connect with the viewers? How do you understand? Do they give you topics, or do you feel that this is something that needs to be there?
Yeah, I claim that Learn Engineering is an international level. That doesn't mean that other channels are not. There are many other good channels. They are doing really well. One thing that different from other channels is that we always make the topics which are evergreen. Okay, and
Viewers.
About the viewers' demand, yeah, I always read their comments. And from comments, sometimes I get some really interesting topic. That's always important. Even Patreon comment also read because they are the supporters. I give more importance for the Patreon comment. And after doing one video on one particular topic, you will automatically get the next video. Because you are exploring your horizon of your knowledge. After learning something about maybe mobile phone technology, you will understand, maybe you can explain more about speaker of mobile phone, about camera technology of mobile phone. That's why the topics automatically comes.
So one question that really pops in, because maybe I know you personally so well, is that you had to change your accent according to your viewers. So
Right.
how much of a challenge that was, along with the technical challenges like the animation that came in, how different was converting your accent and still staying true to your original accent important to you?
Are you speaking of my accent or voice?
Your accent.
Yeah, I have to undergo an American accent training because most of us supporters from the US or Europe. So if they have to understand me, then my English should be clear to them. So that's why I'm currently undergoing an American accent training. And if you check, voiceover of the Learn Engineering is not my voice; it's a hired voice by a proper American voiceover artist. So that way it will be perfectly clear for the viewers. And American voiceover is, since they are professional, it can be understood by any nationalities, even British, Australian, Indian, Indonesian. It's quite clear for them.
Absolutely. So, like you said, you don't see a video as a video, but as a project.
Mhm.
So, what is the process of you undergoing or making a video or a project? What is your process over here at Learn Engineering?
Yeah, the process starts from topic selection review. So, as we mentioned earlier, depending on many factors, we decide the next topic that has to be converted to a video. After the topic selection, we classify things systematically. Maybe in 1 month we need to finish this project. Maybe very first week for the basic research. After that, the script writing. Once the script writing is done, we need to generate visuals accordingly. And even during the visual generation, the 3D animation, some changes may happen in the script because during the visual generation you'll get more ideas. So in that way, these two are connected. The script generation and visual generations are interconnected. You cannot separate them. So, and this process will go on maybe for 2-3 weeks. By the end of 2-3 weeks, it will be finalized, the script as well as the visuals. In the very last stage, we will give the script to a voiceover artist, and currently he is an American voiceover artist, and he will give the voiceover file back and mix it together with the final visual. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. So something like you said, your connection with the viewers and subscribers has been very important. So, and you have maintained a very great rapport with them. So how has this relation been over the course of your time as you kept growing? Has it been difficult to connect with all the people?
Yeah, now it's very difficult to connect with them because earlier I was getting maybe 5 or 6 comments every day, so I was able to read all those comments, maybe initial 1 year or second year. But now the comments are more than 100 or 200 every day, so it's quite impossible to read all those comments. But what I do, once in a week or once in twice in a week, I check all my videos and check the top comments. So YouTube automatically brings the top comments to the top of your comment section, and I read them. So if comment is quite interesting or informative or to be answered, I will reply them.
Absolutely. So, who were the prominent helps in your career in YouTube till far? So, a lot of people definitely supported you, and who were prominent helps in your career?
Yeah, my family was quite supportive, even though they were suspicious at the initial stage, and my elder brother was quite supportive because he already had a good knowledge in this field about Google AdSense, how it generates money. He had his own website, a blog. No, sorry, it's a blog. So he gave a lot of tips about how advertisements are coming and how your video should be, how to attract more views. So in initial stage, he was a great help. And after maybe 1 or 2 years, I learned things myself. I was able to get enough knowledge to propel myself, the business. That's how things are going on nowadays.
Absolutely. So one question is, we've got few questions which is a little different from YouTube, but it's definitely related to you. A lot of people talk about starting their own businesses or startups in their initial days, but you managed to do both of them. So how was your entrepreneurship going ahead with the same dream of YouTube along? How did that happen?
Yeah, I always believe in multiple sources of revenue. So it's always risky to have one source of revenue and run a business. You should have at least 2 or 3 different sources of revenue. So YouTube is obviously one source of revenue. We have Patreon revenue and AdSense revenue, and I'm still trying to diversify the YouTube stream of revenue. And currently the other source of revenue is engineering service. It's a traditional method of business, and we are even trying to get into more business field, maybe book publications, releasing books based on our existing content, and maybe merchants, like based on our YouTube logo or our style of videos, release some products for the viewers. They can purchase it, another source of revenue. And even we are seriously planning to get into manufacturing business, manufacturing of some interesting products. Let's see what will happen in the future. So my motto of business is diversification, because it's always risk free. Also, you get bored with same content of business over a period of years. So it's always good to get some refreshments, try some new business field, get exposure from many fields. That's the style.
Absolutely. So definitely there is a pattern, but something that happens is a lot of people are afraid to take their first step. But you being yourself, how was your journey and how did you manage to take their first few steps and then grow ahead, which definitely was.
Yeah, in my case, obviously there was no other choice because I was jobless, and finding a job was difficult at that time because of some issue with my resume. I had switched 3 jobs in 2 years, so my resume was looking very ugly, not impressive for many of the job providers. So in my case, there was no such confusion. I had to start a business because I was forced to do so. I was in between devil and sea. So that's why that speed issue was not there for me. My original plan was to start a business by age of 40, but due to the circumstances, I had to start a business by age of 28. Blessing in disguise, you can say.
Absolutely. So one thing that comes in is how important of a factor was drive for you, because not everybody does what you do. How much more ambition did you have to see, how much more vision that you have to have, and one thing that a lot of people don't have, or maybe it might be just my case or my thinking, discipline is something that needs to be the fundamental block. So how did you connect to all of these topics together?
Yeah, discipline, drive, both are quite important. Without drive, you won't feel like working. You will be quite bored with your work. You won't give your 100%. So we always make sure that all the people working behind these videos, maybe it's animation artist or video editor, they have the drive to provide what their best is. And over a period of time, after doing same work for many years, things get quite boring. So I always try to give them new fresh jobs, something different from what they're actually doing. So in that case, we try to keep the drive still alive. but it slowly dies out. But it's our challenge to keep the drive alive. And Ruju, what was the next part of this question?
And discipline was one thing.
Yeah, discipline we still maintain from the day one, and even now it is there. So we don't consider videos as videos, we call them as projects. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a strict plan to execute these videos in a professional way. Like, even though these are animated videos and educational content on YouTube, we take it very seriously, make proper timetable, how to execute it, how to release it, how to maintain the quality. That's where discipline we are still maintaining. We are still working like a well-oiled machine with proper time plan.
Definitely. So a lot of people listening to you are inspired and want to start their own thing. So what would be your message for people who want to start their YouTube after the initial phase? Some maybe have started their maybe second or third video and they might not find the success that you may have found. So what would be your message to all those YouTubers out there?
YouTube is a really good career, because if you check the digital platform available nowadays, YouTube is the best platform to explore. Because anyway, at the end of the day, money matters, and I don't think any other platform will provide you money. Even if Twitter, Facebook, any other platform, they won't be able to give as much money as YouTube. This is the best business model available nowadays in this current scenario. Maybe something may come up in future that we don't know. And to get successful in YouTube, you have to be unique. Just by copying others or someone else's videos or someone else's style, you cannot guarantee success. In my case, after 5 or 6 months, I realized that if I mix animation with my style of explanation, these videos will be successful. That was not a copied idea, that's my original idea. Similarly, if you get some unique idea in your mind, if you present this video this way, a totally different, unique way, this video will be informative to the people, or people will be entertained, then go with that. So if you are inspired with some YouTuber style of presentations and try to copy them directly, then you might end up as a failure. So come up with your unique idea, go ahead, and maybe keep on trying for 1 or 2 years, keep on improving with every video, take feedback from your viewers. You will be successful, definitely.
Absolutely. So we've got 2 more questions for you. How long did it take YouTube to be a part of your identity and a part of you?
So around 6 years back, I had no idea that YouTube can be a business model. So my initial plan was to start this channel, make it sustainable, and make a decent amount of revenue, and quit YouTube. Maybe after 2 years. But after 2 years, I realized that this can be a sustainable business model that can provide many employments and can bring a good sense of revenue. So that in that sense, after 2 years, I realized that this is a part of my identity. Now there is no turning back. It has to be throughout my lifetime.
Absolutely. So our last question for you would be, what would be your message to the revolutionary youth of India?
I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to answer that question, Richu, but to the youth of India, if your dream is a business, then business is what? Just filling the gap between the supply and the demand. And India, you can see a lot of problems around you. So if we can find some way to fill this demand issue or supply issue, then that's your business model. So on my YouTube channel, what I'm doing is that during my engineering days, I realized that most of the students, even though they are from the top colleges or top schools, they are struggling to understand the concepts very well due to the issue of the illustration, their textbook or not good contents are available. So I thought, let's fill this gap. This could be a good business model. That's why Learn Engineering was born, to fill the gap between that students' demand of good content and the availability at that time. Now more contents are available, obviously. So that was one way of finding one problem. Similarly, there are many problems available all across you. So it's your duty to find out those problems and come up with unique solutions. Definitely it's going to be a good business model for you.
Absolutely. So one small question that we have for you, one small question is, what can our people expect in the near future from Learn Engineering, and what are the different streams that a lot of people are requesting you to go into a lot of different streams. So what are your plans towards it?
Yeah, finally the last question. There is no immediate plan, but what we are trying is that I am a mechanical engineer and I am already run out of the topic of mechanical engineering field. I have covered almost all the important or all the interesting topics of mechanical engineering. So if we want to keep on producing content, we need to get into more engineering streams, maybe computer science, civil engineering, and more into electronics. Electronics, we have released few videos, but not too much. So the goal for next 2 or 3 or next 4 years is to get into all the streams of engineering, slowly but steadily. And other plan we are having is that while researching some engineering topics, we realize that there aren't good content available even on the textbooks. Some textbooks explain some very crucial engineering topics very bad way, quite illogically, without no connection, without no logical reasoning. And we struggle a lot to understand these technologies, understand the basic concepts. So initially there is a feeling in our mind that why can't we release our own textbooks, our own books, a proper books that can be used in the university level with more logical explanation, better answers, better visualization. So that's a very serious business model for us in our mind nowadays. Maybe it may become materialized maybe in 1 or 2 years. Let's see, that's one of our target.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you once again, Saban, for your time. It means a lot to us, to a lot of people that this goes out who want to learn from you. I mean, whenever they might feel low, they might just plug in and listen back to you. So thank you once again for being a part of our channel.
So thank you, Ruchi, for coming here. It was a well-detailed interview. It took almost half an hour to answer all your questions. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much.